Welcome to Ditch the Classroom. This is your host, Ariana Vernier, and I'm so excited that you're here. I'm a teacher turned business coach who is so passionate about helping fellow mamas like you ditch the classroom and pursue your big, hairy, scary dreams. Imagine a life where you could still impact the world, but do so while following your passions and spending more time with your babies. In Ditch the Classroom, we'll explore ways you can do just that. Myself, guest experts, and amazing teachers who have also built a successful business will share tools, tips, and resources to help you ditch the classroom too. Are you ready? Here we go. Hey, sister friends, welcome back to the Ditch the Classroom podcast. Before we jump into today's episode, which I know y'all are going to love, I want to let you know that we have a 5-day series coming up here on the podcast in 2 weeks. It's going to be the 5 steps to become a virtual assistant. So you'll be able to tune in each day here on the show and get a quick tip for what you can do to really start your virtual assistant business so you can quit teaching, replace your teaching income, and start working from home with your babies. So I'm super excited for that. Make sure you tune back in. Again, that's happening in 2 weeks. Today, I want to talk to you about how to get your spouse to support your dream of quitting teaching and becoming a virtual assistant. And I want to start with a little story. I still remember one of my husband and I's biggest fights, and hopefully he's okay with me sharing this on this show, but it really wasn't about him. It was about me. But we were talking about my dream to become a stay-at-home mom in the future. This was pre-kids. We were like very newly married. And he basically said he didn't think that was possible because with all of the goals that we had for getting debt-free and all the vacations we want to be able to do and just all of our big dreams that we wanted in the future, that just wasn't going to be possible on just his income. And deep in my heart, I knew that. But at the same time, it just broke my heart because I knew I wanted to be able to pour into my babies and spend so much time with them, especially while they're little, because they're only little once. And it just crushed me for him to say that I wasn't going to be able to do that. But, becoming a virtual assistant has given me that. It's given me the ability to work around my kiddos' lives. It's given me the ability to spend time with them and design my business around my life and not the other way around. But one very, very crucial part of that has been my husband's support along the way. And I know a lot of you are wondering, how do I get my spouse to support this dream of quitting teaching? Because maybe you've been doing it for a while. You have a really good paycheck coming in that's in your husband's eyes stable. And maybe you're afraid to lose that. Maybe he's afraid to lose that. Maybe the idea of change is really scary for him and for you. And so you guys need to be on the same page and as a team. Now, my husband and I, we don't always agree, but we always support each other. And so sometimes that doesn't look like, if I come to him with an idea, he's going to help talk me through it. And we'll kind of both come to the conclusion of whether it's a good idea or not. But he's not going to flat out say like, no, that's a shitty idea. We'll talk through it. And so I want to help you kind of have that relationship with your spouse, because communication is so incredibly crucial to you being able to be a virtual assistant, because you need someone that is supporting you, backing you, especially for the times where you get a little bit discouraged. You want to know that your spouse is in your corner. So I'm going to walk you through 7 kind of tips to get your spouse to support you more in your journey to quitting teaching and becoming a virtual assistant. So, number 1 is when you're introducing this idea to him of quitting teaching and becoming a VA, make sure you come to the table with a game plan. Have an idea of what you want to talk to him about. Share with him why you're wanting to do this. What dream has God placed on your heart? What struggles are you facing? You can be really open and vulnerable here. You can also share how you're going to make this dream come true. So you can share the goals you've set, timelines for hitting those goals, where the money will come from for this investment if you're investing in a course. Maybe you have a plan to show him like, hey, I'm not going to go to Starbucks at all this month. I'm just going to make my coffee from home. I figured it out. That'll save me about this much money. And that should be enough for the payment for the course. Something like that. Maybe you can cut back on your spending that month, something. Just show him that you have a game plan and you're not just like, I don't know where this is supposed to come from. You figure that out. Show him that you really thought this through. And if you're thinking about investing in a course, share with him the course. Walk him through the sales page of what is all included and how you think, and talk through how you think it's going to be beneficial for you in saving you time, saving you money down the road, because it's going to teach you all the skills you need to know, all of that. So, like I said, come to the table with a game plan. Don't just like throw this at him and not have a plan for what you're going to want to talk about. And then number 2, kind of to go off of number 1, is plan a time to chat with him. Don't just spring it on him. If he comes home from a long work day and you're like, babe, I'm quitting teaching and becoming a virtual assistant, he's going to be like, excuse me. So maybe just set aside a time with him that would work best for him. And so you can come to him and be like, hey, babe, I really want to talk to you about kind of this dream that God's been placing on my heart of what I want to do next in my career. But I really want you to be open and ready to listen and chat this through with me. So I don't want to spring it on you. When would be a good time for us to chat this through? And so he might be like, now's a good time. Or he might say, I'm really tired today. Can we do this Friday afternoon after the kids go to bed or whatever? And you can also give him a couple options too that you think might work well when you present this to him. Tip number 3, when you come to the conversation, don't come being combative. Don't fight with him. You can't force him to be supportive. I know I fight so incredibly hard for what I believe in. And sometimes if I hear a little bit of that, worry, I take it as he's not believing in me. Just come with an open mind, come with an open heart, and try as hard as you can not to be combative, because that's not going to get you to the end goal that you want. And if you see that it's starting to go in that direction, you can call for a timeout and say, hey, I think we're kind of disagreeing right here. I want to take some time to think about, what I really want out of this. Can we take a timeout and come back to this conversation tomorrow at this time or whatever? Okay. Just make sure you're not coming and fighting during this conversation, because that's not going to get you to the goal that you want. And then 4, kind of a spinoff of that, is be positive and honor and respect him in the conversation. So let him know what it would mean to you to have his support and frame it positively. So you can say something like, hey, babe, it means so much to me when you support me. I know you have a lot on your plate, and I'm so grateful for all that you do for us. I would love to chat through this dream that I have to become a virtual assistant and get your view on it and see what you think and how you think it'll impact our family. Okay, so that's just a really positive way to frame it. It's not, throwing any blame on him that you're feeling this way for wanting to quit teaching. It's showing him that you really just appreciate him for all he does, and that makes him want to be more supportive of these ideas. Number 5 is to be patient. So he may not say yes overnight. He may need some time to think about it. He may need, 24 hours. He may need a week. He may need a month. Give him that time, and just, if you don't come to a conclusion in the first conversation, maybe say at the end of it, okay, when can we circle back and talk through this again? When would be a good time to check back in with each other on this? Because that lets him know that you're not letting it go, but you want to give him the time to really think it through. Number 6, and this is kind of funny, do it anyway. I'm not saying go out and become a virtual assistant against your husband's will, but you have different goals and aspirations than he does. And if he sees how hard you're working towards this, he's more likely to be supportive, even if he doesn't fully understand it. If he starts seeing the income coming in, he's more likely to be supportive. So you can start working as a virtual assistant as a side hustle while you figure out the logistics of quitting teaching as he sees you starting to land clients and learning these new skills and just being lit up about this. He's more likely to want to say, yes, let's go all in on this. And then number 7, so incredibly crucial, is to pray about it. Pray for your husband's support and pray like you believe that this is exactly what you've been called to do. Pray with the confidence that this is what God's calling you to do, because if he's placed this dream on your heart, it's there for a reason. And even if he doesn't answer it directly with the answer that you're looking for, he's going to answer it in some way. And so if you just start taking action and taking those steps and praying about it, God's going to lead you, and he's going to most likely have your spouse support you and follow you and give you that yes that you're looking for. So make sure that you're praying about it as you're trying to get your spouse on board with your Ditch the Classroom journey. All right, so real quick, let's kind of recap these tips for getting your spouse on board with you quitting teaching and becoming a virtual assistant. Number 1, come to the table with a game plan. Number 2, plan a time to chat. Don't spring it on him. Number 3, don't fight. And number 4, be positive and honor and respect him in your conversation. Number 5 is be patient. Number 6 is do it anyway and start it as a side hustle till you can prove to your husband that this is going to work. And then number 7 is to pray about it. All right, y'all, I hope that these tips were helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, you can come into our free Facebook community, facebook.com/groups/Ditch the Classroom. And let me know if you have any questions about, maybe a struggle you're having with getting your spouse on board, and I'd be happy to help. Also, if you're loving this podcast, it would make my heart so incredibly happy if you would take the time to come and leave a review, because that is what helps show iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever they're called, Spotify, everywhere that you listen to podcasts. It shows them that this podcast is important and gets it on the search page when people are coming and searching for these topics. I know so many moms and teachers who can use this information to help them meet their dreams of being home with their babies. And I just want us to be able to get this message out there. So you leaving that review would be so incredibly helpful to me, and it would just make my heart so happy. So go to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, leave a 5-star review. You can write a couple sentences about what this podcast has helped you with, what it's done for you, what it's meant to you, and it would bless me greatly. All right, y'all, I love you so much, and we will see you next episode. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Before you go, make sure you take a minute to subscribe to the show, leave a rating and review, and check out the show notes for a free gift to help you ditch the classroom. If you loved today's episode, can you help me share the message by taking a screenshot, tagging me on Instagram @Ariana.Vernier, and sharing it with your friends so we can help more mamas ditch the classroom and follow their dreams. Until next week, y'all, keep following the dreams that were placed in your heart so you too can ditch the classroom.